Okay, I've been struggling to make a Smash Bros video for a good while now, so if this video seems a little shorter than usual, it's mostly because ideas for Smash Bros tend to be a little complicated for my liking. Like, Smash Bros is like the second series that I'm the most well informed of, the first being Mario Kart obviously, but when it comes to like talking about things that I find weird or something that goes a little too technical for my standards, it becomes harder for me to talk about these things to the point where I just have a hard time trying to explain and express my thoughts and explanations about this particular topic. So this video is going to be a little strange, but it's not too out of the line from my previous video where I talked about a Smash character. The last time I talked about one, it was with Pac-Man, but this was more about the Pac-Man series and how I feel like it's kind of badly represented in Smash Bros. Right now. This time, I'm not talking about a series in particular, I'm talking about a character. Or rather, two characters. The two characters I feel like are the strangest inclusions in Smash Bros. They're strange in the sense that they were even included in the first place, which seems like it would be a good choice, but for what they turned out, it's a lot left to be desired. The characters in question that I'm referring to are Daisy and Chrom. In this video, I want to delve into a deeper look at Daisy and Chrom and explain why these guys are just really strange inclusions to Smash Ultimate. Maybe even the whole Smash series when it comes to just well-represented series of their respective franchises. I'm not going over specifics this time. There's no Wii Fit Trainers or Rob the Robot. These are just normal characters you'd see in any other franchise that are not one note, that just happen to have the weirdest movesets or some weird oddities behind them that I find really interesting. So without further ado, let's go. I'm gonna start things off with Daisy, mostly because I'm a freaking Mario nerd. I was actually kind of excited to see Daisy when she was first revealed, mostly because, well, it's Daisy. I didn't expect Daisy to ever be playable as a fighter, but she seemed promising. And then it kind of went away immediately when it turned out she was just an Echo Fighter. The purpose of Echo Fighters are mostly just to save development time, so the devs don't really have to do much with duplicating a character or giving them slightly different attributes or even different final smashes at some points. One of the most famous examples that I can think of is Dark Pit. As well, for the most part, Dark Pit's moveset is just the exact same as Pit's with some slight alterations. Dark Pit has a unique final smash. So what did they do to Daisy that makes her different from Peach that justifies her having her own character slot in the first place? Spoiler alert, not much. Unfortunately, for some reason, the devs didn't think Daisy needed any tweaking, so she was left mostly intact and has the same stats as Peach, which is a big problem when you take into consideration that she is a different character, not an alternate costume. And the alternate costume thing was also highly debated whenever it comes to Daisy's inclusion in Smash Bros. I've seen people that highly suggest that Daisy should have just been an alternate costume. And you know what? I can see where they're coming from, because Daisy doesn't have any attributes that makes her any different than Peach. She used to, though. For some reason, there's like this specific small percentage difference with her down B, and then an update came along and made Daisy an exact Peach clone. Which is kind of weird because Peach before had a Daisy alternate costume. So it kind of seems a little insulting much. On one hand, I feel like Daisy is a bit of wasted potential. I mean, yeah, sure, I know why she had to be an Echo Fighter, but some of the things Daisy does in her moveset doesn't really make a lot of sense in the context of her being a Peach clone. Especially things like the final smash, which hasn't been altered and it looks so weird in Daisy's context. On the other hand, I can understand why people would want Daisy to be an alternate costume, because there really isn't much material for Daisy to go off of other than spin-offs. The most you can really work off of with Daisy are mostly the Mario sports games, and the only mainline title she's appeared in is both Super Mario Land and Mario Run. However, the latter I can see it being a little bit more debated, but the Super Mario Wiki for some reason clarifies it as mainline, so I'm gonna consider it as such. So as of now, I feel like Daisy is better off as an alternate costume since she doesn't have much going off of her that justifies her having her own character slot, and since there's nothing unique about her to pull material from, it just leaves a lot to be desired. It kind of feels like in Alf situation where Alf was meant to be an original character, I think the dads didn't think he was any different than Olimar, so they resorted to have him be an alternate costume instead. Sorry Daisy, you may be cool, but your one shot at being your own original character just kind of fell flat with just being an exact Peach clone. It's just the way things are. Now the next character I want to talk about is Chrom. Now when I originally made this recording, I had the wrong assumption that Chrom was an echo of Ike. When I played Ultimate to get footage, apparently Chrom is an echo to Roy, and I somehow got their specials mixed up in the process, so it might just be because I haven't played Ultimate in a good while, and therefore I don't remember many things about the game as I thought I had. So this is going to be an entirely new section for me to discuss, so yeah. So I have the least amount of experience for Fire Emblem when it comes to just the series in general. I only know Fire Emblem mostly off of the Smash Wiki, and more or less just insight from a friend of mine that knows Fire Emblem to the back and front, specifically Fire Emblem Awakening, so I could have the privilege to ask them about Chrom, but I wouldn't because I didn't want to seem like a smart aleck. So yeah, let's talk about Chrom. Chrom is an interesting Echo Fighter because he's one of the very few, or maybe the only character, that has mostly all of his moves from one specific character from base, which is Roy, but one attack he has actually comes from Ike. I find it very interesting because it puts Chrom in a really weird position, and it opens up probably some sort of possibilities for other Echo Fighters if they want to do something like that. Now of course, one of the main drawbacks with Chrom having Ike's one move, the move in question being his up B, is that Chrom now has a really terrible recovery move. I think this kind of makes sense in his base game anyway. I mean, it's kind of hard to really base off Chrom's entire moveset from one specific game. Something about the fact that Chrom just has a worse recovery move I always find very amusing and a little bit depressing. Otherwise, Chrom was a really strange addition to me because it seems like a really odd character to bring into the roster, and apparently some people have actually wanted Chrom to be in Smash. Oh well, whatever the case is, Chrom is an interesting addition that I find very amusing just for the fact that he has mostly the same moveset as Roy, but he has one move from Ike that makes him stand out a little more than Daisy. And I find that very embarrassing to Daisy, so yeah, points for Chrom for being original at least, even if it's just not that. I will add on that I don't think Chrom would actually appear in the next Smash title, if only because there really isn't a reason to ever bring Chrom to the next Smash game. Where characters, or even Echo Fighters like Lucina, which is also from the same game, is a lot more iconic and people would much more prefer seeing Lucina return than Chrom. It's also weird to mention that Chrom is in the game, yet he's still in Robin's Final Smash, which makes things really funny and a bit confusing. So yeah, we have two Echo Fighters that are pretty weird to one another for different varieties of reasons. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about both Daisy and Chrom's inclusion in Smash Ultimate? And more specifically, their kind of weird attributes that they both hold in the realm of Echo Fighters? Let me know down in the comments below. And before I end off this video, I want to at least announce something. A couple of days ago, I had some really bad burnout with Mario Kart in general, mostly because of some stupid whole drama thing about things behind the scenes that I don't want to get into. Just know that it relates to data mines and such, and it was such a mess. I was super exhausted by the end of it. I'm still kind of in that same spot, but maybe not for long. I'll definitely make some more Mario Kart content in the future, but for now I just wanted to focus on other videos that I want to make. So hopefully this and a few others will be enough to suffice while I try to come up with a Mario Kart video for you all to enjoy. So that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Have a good day or good night or any time of day. And as always, remember that Stu cares about you.